Stereophonics have just released their 13th album. It's called Make 'Em Laugh, Make 'Em Cry, Make 'Em Wait. Al, I know this is how you like to live your life, but did it float your boat?
Good morning, mate. Yeah, I mean, the Stereophonics have been around for 30 years, producing 13 albums, and they're still packing out live shows when they tour. So I don't know what I was going to expect for the 13th album. To be honest, for me, they're a band that had some real hits back in the day, like songs like Mr. Rider, Maybe Tomorrow, and then, of course, the massive worldwide hit Dakota, which kind of shot them into the stratosphere for a while there. But they've kind of had a few albums since that I didn't really engage with. So it's actually really interesting to kind of give this album a listen, and I'm really interested in the fact that they've reduced this to 8 songs with the
Mm.
idea of being no filler.
I know that they've been around for a long time. They seem to release albums every
Mm.
2 to 3 years. They haven't really had too many
Yep.
breaks, but I remember them back in 1997, 98. I think they play in Hobart, but I don't seem to have any record
Yeah, right.
of them playing. So if anyone went to that concert, let me know. But I think that they've gone through different periods, right? So I think that they had the edgier stuff. So Dakota is probably the reference point for
Yep.
most casual Stereophonics fans. They've become a little bit more adult orientated as they've gotten older. I think the last album was probably a little bit of an outlier, but uh, I really was expecting probably what we ended up hearing, really, the vocal driven rock. Kelly Jones is really great, isn't he? I often wonder whether he should have taken the Robbie Williams route, because I think his vocal ability is probably up there with probably more of the sort of the pop artists like a Robbie Williams, so almost like an edgier type of Robbie Williams.
Oh, I tell you what, mate, that's a really interesting point. And what I find interesting is the potential that this band could have had in America, with the fact that they're obviously from Wales. They're the kind of second tier Manic Street Preachers, and happy to debate that in the comments. But the fact his voice really, he has that kind of smoky, husky kind of voice. I mean, he's a good looking bloke, and they really could have taken on the American audience. And I think there's some particular tracks and influences here which kind of salute to that. I mean, I did a little bit of digging, and they kind of do say that although they are so proud of their Welsh heritage, they were massive fans of American rock, Aerosmith, Bob Dylan, and storytellers like that, mate. Are you getting the feel that this is represented on this album?
I think so. So I mean, there's always going to be something is one of those examples.
Yeah.
I like Colors of October, but it's got a very much a grit to it. It's a very working class in terms of the vocals. So this is all Americana stuff. So the time passing, the fading youth, these are all the themes that he seems to be able to sing very well. It's almost like they're a rock band that would have sat very well in the 80s. I mean, you remember for
Oh,
alternative
agree.
music, it was a little bit more vocally driven in my view. So, and I'll throw some names out. You might disagree. So, like, you remember Extreme, you remember Mr.
Yep.
Big, those types of
Yep.
classic rock tunes in those late 80s periods where it was all vocal. The vocal guy was the guy who was sort of really steering the ship. That's what it really feels to me.
Yeah, look, just some other tracks that I particularly like were Eyes Too Big for My Belly. I think the country roots here and the reference points, you've got a bit of a Black Keys kind of sound here. I don't know, and I think you hit the nail on the head. I think there's not that many bands that build their songs around the vocals and the fact that the lyrics just kind of really work around the music. I don't know. I didn't go into this listening that it was going to be like a 5-star album, but Stereophonics have always been an earworm kind of band for me. They kind of creep up and lurk through your Spotify playlists, and you just find them on rotation, like a song like Maybe Tomorrow, which I don't know if you've heard of, is a real classic example of that for me, mate. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, so look, I'm going to give this probably 3.5 stars. So if you
Yeah, okay.
are looking at the band in their Dakota era, the sort of the more edgier stuff, I think you're going to be a little bit disappointed by it. But I think if you are a fan of Americana and you're very much a fan of of vocal performances, because I love his voice, his sort of this raspy voice. I think this
Yeah.
is probably going to be in your sweet spot. So I'm going to put it in that category. I'm not sure if that's around about what you're thinking.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna boost it up. I'm gonna go 4 stars. I was initially around
Okay.
at 3.5, but I think the fact that they've come out and really there's not many bands that are releasing 8-track albums, and I
Yeah.
think for me, that is a real game changer for me because I just love the fact that probably 1 or 2 of these songs will be played on their kind of live, um, set lists, and it's a pretty easy Sunday listening album. There's no tracks which you go, "Oh, geez," fast forward. For me, it's a 4-star album, mate.
Let us know what you're thinking about this album, especially if you're a fan of the Stereophonics. Where does this rank in all of their different albums? Do you see this as being one of the better ones, or is it in the middle of the pack? Let us know your comments. Let us know your thoughts.